The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small, and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Weird Way Media.
Hello and welcome to the Seagal Podcast, your podcast for all things Steven Seagal. I am Trevor Gumbel, of course, as usual, and with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Chris Dashew.
It has been quite some time since we've done this, Trevor.
It has been way... Our Twitter followers started to notice, and we're not happy.
I think they've noticed a lot quicker than they reached out to us, but I think also... Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this show. We actually have some episodes recorded that are chronologically after this one, but we had kind of skipped over doing this one kind of by accident, which is funny because I think of all the things that we've talked about and watched on this show, this might be the most unintentionally topical of all the things we've ever watched. Yeah. In a way that feels like I'm not going to say that this movie's great, but what's shocking about this movie is it's kind of aged better in retrospect, or more horrifyingly, because in a lot of ways you could remake this movie now. You could remake this movie whole cloth for the most part, and people would be like, "Oh man, how topical!" It's crazy. Yeah. This is Steven Seagal versus Ruby Ridge, is what this movie is. Yeah. If that's not the way it was pitched, I don't know how it was pitched. But yeah, folks, on this episode of the On Seagal podcast, we're back at it again, talking about 1998's, directed by Dean Semler, based on a book. Not really, though, but there's a virus in the book, so there's a virus in the movie. Talking about Steven Seagal's first DTV feature. So this is the big one. This is the one that puts all the other ones into motion. We're talking about 1998's The Patriot.
In a country of rugged beauty, where people live close to the land, Dr. Wesley McLaren has found a home.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, baby.
But even in this peaceful place, there are forces which threaten life.
You know what I'm talking about, men?
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about the CIA.
Yes, sir.
The FBI.
Yes, sir.
forces which have unleashed a deadly virus.
What do we got? Blood pressure is 240 over 120, respiration 30 and shallow. This guy looks pretty bad too. How you feeling?
Now, he has become the town's only hope.
I need a response team here immediately. Everybody in the mom suits now.
Daddy, who are those people in white?
But with the crisis spreading,
How long before the people of Venice start dying?
1 or 2 days.
with the danger growing,
Did you realize what you've done? You've opened Pandora's box.
something in his daughter's immunity
Maybe it's genetic.
has become everyone's only chance to survive.
We gotta have that little girl. If you gotta shoot her, plug the hole.
You're making a big mistake.
Now we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
I think it's gonna be the hard way. I am not a terrorist. I'm a doctor. And I'm here to help you.
Steven Seagal,
We got work to do. Let's get with it.
the Patriot.
So, like I mentioned, directed by Dean Semler, it stars Steven Seagal, Gaillard Sartain, otherwise known as one of the two guys who's in all the Ernest movies.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. Well, what's crazy is when I saw him and I heard his voice, I was like, oh my God, it's the guy from Ernest. Yeah, it is the guy from Ernest. Also stars L.Q. Jones, Silas Weir Mitchell, but the one that I think we both obviously want to point out, Camilla Bell, who ends up having a rather long career, still kind of working, maybe not as much as she used to.
Yeah.
But she's essentially a child in this movie. I guess most people probably our age remember her from Lost World, where she's the little girl on the beach who gets eaten by the compies or gets attacked by them, I guess. They never say if she dies or not.
No, they said she was fine.
Yeah.
They mentioned in the next scene she survived.
So the movie is all about Steven Seagal playing a former military researcher, government researcher, immunologist who lives in Montana. And out in Montana, there are prepper guys and survivalists and white supremacists and whatever these guys are supposed to be, which I'm assuming is kind of a mix of all of that. I alluded to with it being a Ruby Ridge thing, Steven Seagal's town of Ennis is close to this encampment or colony of preppers, and they take it upon themselves to fight the local government that's making their lives harder than they need to. And that's, again, the Ruby Ridge of it all, the Waco of it all. And so what we end up having is Steven Seagal, an immunologist, trying to figure out why all of a sudden in their small Montana town, all these people are dying from a very serious disease or virus that kills them more or less within like a day is what it seems like. And so Steven Seagal and his pals, including a rancher and a government agent, have to stop the virus from spreading and also get a handle on the white supremacists. So, Trevor, I'm curious. I know you'd never seen this, as I hadn't either, but what did you think of The Patriot?
It wasn't terrible.
Right?
It was, it was one of the more entertaining Seagal films that I watched. It's a pretty, it's pretty standard fare. It's basically Seagal wants to do Outbreak.
Right, yeah. Seagal versus COVID in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was like, if Outbreak, the Wolfgang Peterson film, had been Steven Seagal one, it probably would have been boring as hell, or weird, but yeah, he plays this kind of immunologist who doesn't believe in big pharma.
Right.
He makes that a point in one scene. He's treating this friend of his. What was he being treated for? Do you remember at all?
I forget, but they use what they colloquially refer to in the movie so many times, and I don't think this term hasn't aged well. Red medicine.
Red medicine, yeah.
Oh my God. What's the red in reference to Native American people? Yes, it literally is exactly what you think it is.
And Steven Seagal, again, trying to relate to the Native American people and failing really fucking miserably.
He just looks like a guy who wears moccasins and, tassels and thinks that, how, brother, I understand the plight of your people. Like, dude, go away. You're from Detroit. Come on, man.
You got that at the gift shop.
Yeah, bro. Like, it always rings so hollow because this is the second time or the third time he's done this?
Well, he played the medicine guy in that one
on
film.
Ground.
No. Well, yeah, that, but the one where he's in China.
Oh, Attrition, one of those DTV ones that we did like, yeah,
that he played a medicine man in that one. But yeah, Steve Seagal just really hates Western medicine.
I guess so, and the U.S. government apparently.
Yeah, I mean, why is he not in the militia? I mean, shit.
I mean, he probably would be now if this movie were made in 2024. He'd probably be the guy leading the militia.
Exactly. And the militia's viewpoints aren't terribly well established other than they hate the government.
Right. They have no manifesto to speak of.
To me, they seemed like a pretty shitty militia. Like the government could easily take these guys out.
Yeah. Well, like, yes, but no, but yes, that's the thing, because we see later on in the movie that they're clearly adept at killing people. But when you see them initially, it's like effectively like 3 shipping containers stacked on top of each other turned into bunkers. Like it's not even Ruby Ridge. It's not even Waco. It's like stupid Waco. And to your point, like on top of everything else, these morons take the virus internally so that they can go and spread it.
Exactly.
But they don't realize that they don't have the antivirus. The antivirus doesn't work. So now they're all infected, and they go then to try to kill the military and the medical people to get the antidote, which also doesn't work. To say they're inept is to be kind.
I mean, he could very well be the same character from the Ernest movies.
Yeah. got radicalized by accident.
Bobby just said, "Man, you're too radical," and he went off and did his own thing and left Bobby at the airport.
There's a scene in this movie where he sounds like Alex Jones. He's like, "Well, they've got worldwide conspiracies, and they're scanning the barcodes when we go to the grocery store. And why don't you join me? You seem like a smart guy." And it's like, this is just shit. Like, Alex Jones probably creamed his pants when he saw this movie.
Alex Jones was like, "This is porn, man."
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of shit that he parrots now. I mean, that's why I said it's like so topical, because the villain in this movie is literally a right-wing supremacist, like a fascist. Like, he makes it very clear.
His huge plan was to infect himself and to hopefully, kill off millions of Americans. He didn't really think his situation or the plan very well, because what is your end game? Do you want to become like a martyr or something?
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess they're doing it so that they can like show that they can one up the government. Because I mean, when they're in court, he's like, "I don't understand why the U.S. government it's okay for them to come onto my land and take away my I mean, you hear it all the time now. I mean, you hear this shit constantly now. And again, like for me, when I look at that scene in this movie, like, again, they don't go far enough is what it feels like, to your point. It's like, why aren't they really spouting some like really crazy, like racist shit?
Go full bore, man. I mean,
I don't get it. It's like
you're a villain anyway. Just say the weirdest shit you can.
Yeah, and I guess I don't get why they didn't push it far enough, because again, like, they have the opportunity. Gaillard Sartain is not any more physically imposing than most of the villains that Steven Seagal has to deal with. The people that he ends up having to kill at the end of his movies are not the physical threat. They're like the mental threat. They employed all the other people. I mean, thinking of like someone like Bill Sadler, right? Not a physical threat. Or Henry Silva, not imminently a threat, but again, you see how quickly Seagal kills them. I mean, the way he kills Gaillard Sartain in this movie is fucking brutal. It's brutal. There's not a lot of action in this movie. I think that's the other thing. That's probably the biggest failing of this movie, is it's like 2 minutes of Seagal.
Well, including his martial arts ability.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no much of that showcased here. It's mostly like guns and shit like that.
Which I don't associate with Steven Seagal at all. He's not a gun guy. I think he kills 3 people with a gun in this movie, maybe. And that's right after he takes a wine glass, knocks the cup of the top off, and stabs it into Gaillard Sartain's head, which is like, I had to rewind it a couple times because like, what the fuck just happened? Because he just kills him, just dead. And then like, wow. Well, I'm glad that the villain that the movie was building up the entire time is just dead now.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't really that imposing of a villain, I didn't think.
No. I mean, the other guy, Silas Weir Mitchell playing Pogue, is more of a physically imposing character, but it always just feels like they don't let anybody be even on Seagal's level, even close.
No, well, we've talked about this before. It's what Seagal wants.
Clearly. He
never takes a hit, never even falls to the ground. He's always in control.
Yep.
He always has the high ground. You know, everybody else is Anakin. He's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You know,
and what I really don't like about this movie is that they have leaned so far into it this time that the movie essentially has no action. It is an action movie, sure, but like you said, like the stuff that you're ostensibly here for, this movie doesn't have a lot of.
No, it's more based on tension and maybe a little bit of mystery as to how they're gonna solve this.
I guess.
By the way, the way they solve it is just eye-rollingly fucking ridiculous.
It's it feels very Deus Ex Machina, like we're like probably like Deus Ex Native American. Like it's so fucking lazy. It's shockingly lazy.
It should tip you off though when we first talk about Steven Seagal not trusting American medicine.
Well,
it should really tip you off on how it's going to end with, you know, it was the plants all along that was the cure.
Yeah,
this rare
tea. Drink this tea from flowers. It's delicious. I really didn't think the tea that his daughter serves him at the beginning of the movie was going to be the way the movie gets out of its corner that it's backed itself into. But sure, that's pretty lazy.
You better hope it wasn't treated with fertilizer.
Well, I don't get any of this movie. Like, what was the point? I was expecting Seagal to turn to the camera at some point and go, "Remember on Deadly Ground? This is what I expected him to do his environmental message in this.
This is him. Yeah, this is him preaching again.
Yeah,
this is him preaching about the evils of Western medicine.
I don't get it. Like, why, Steven Seagal, do you take it upon yourself to constantly make the movies about something? And I'm not saying movies don't need to be about something, but Steven Seagal never has a point to make. He never even whiffs at a point. He is completely out in the fucking weeds constantly. And I don't get it.
It's always just hero worship for him. And the hero he's worshiping is himself.
Yeah. He loves himself, man.
Can we talk about the director?
Sure. Let's talk about Dean Semler, who's done cinematography for a whole bunch of things.
He's won an Oscar. I mean, this guy is like, he's not a director by trade. He's mostly known for cinematography. I think he's done a lot of stuff with Spielberg. He did one of my favorite movies, Super Mario Brothers. He's done Dances with Wolves. He won for Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, he worked on Apocalypto. I mean, he's worked as recently as 2019 with Playing with Fire, that John Cena firefighter movie. Wow. John Leguizamo, speaking of Mario Brothers, John you think him and John Leguizamo on the set were like, hey, remember in the 90s we worked on that wild-ass Mario Brothers movie?
You had the best alcohol, man.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, what's funny is looking at his filmography. Do you know what his only other film he directed was? Same year as this one.
What?
How Long is Fire?
Oh, right. Right. I read that. I remember reading that.
Smoke Jumper, Jesse Graves. Oh, this was like Backdraft in a Forest.
This was like Fox trying to make Howie Long their next action star.
They tried it with the Boz Baby and it didn't work. Come on.
Well, why do you think we kicked him out of Seattle, man? We don't want him.
I'll tell you what. I actually just recently saw
Stone Cold?
Mad Max 2 and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I had never seen them before, and he did the cinematography on both of those movies. And man,
those are great.
Oh yeah, they're great movies, both of them. And again, like that's the thing. I actually think in terms of him being a director, this movie is well shot, but it's nothing special. The term that we often use is workmanlike, and I think it is rather workmanlike. And look, he's an Australian cinematographer and film director, so having worked on or with Australians seems to be something he does frequently. But yeah, I mean, I kind of wish there was more to this movie because it has a lot of parts that theoretically added together should be interesting. I mean, look, I will say the setting alone is pretty unique. We don't get a lot of movies set in Montana like this. Like, alone, it's an interesting setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless they're like Westerns or movies about horses.
Right.
You don't really see much movies about Montana.
No, there's not like an action movie that I can point to and be like, this takes place in Montana. But that's it. That's what's interesting about Seagal, because if we back this up, Seagal has done an Alaska action movie. He's done a Montana action movie. And then he's also done like a Deep South, like Kentucky. Was it Kentucky or Tennessee where Fire Down Below? It was one of those two, right? It's like somewhere in there. Like, I will say,
doesn't there one in Louisiana?
No, that's you're thinking of Van Damme.
Oh, with Hard Target?
Yeah, with Hard Target, because that takes place in like the Bayou, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like that, I mean, that is kind of it in terms of like these kinds of movies. These are not big budget action stars in the 90s. The movies that they were making were higher concept than this, like a Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger wasn't even making terrestrial movies at some point. He was making big sci-fi things, or, big God knows what else, like comic book movies and stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
So what I will say, I appreciate that Steven Seagal seems committed to, like, at least at this part of his career, making weird action movies in the States that are uniquely, like, there are very few movies themed the way that this one is, with a cattle rancher / farmer who's a ex-immunologist. The weirdest, like, it's so ham-fisted. Seagal always wants to be an expert on something that there's no reasonable human being would believe he's an immunologist.
I'll give him this. He's slightly more likable than he usually is in this film.
It's because of his daughter. Somehow he comes off better when he's around her than he has any right to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, Camilla Bell is fine. She's a child actor. This is after Jurassic World.
She was 11 at the time this movie came out. 11? Yeah.
Yeah.
She was born in 86, so she was 12. Yeah, she was 12.
Yeah.
12,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Seagal kind of had a little paternal instinct kick in.
Who's better as a father on screen? Schwarzenegger at the beginning of Commando or Steven Seagal? Or I guess not beginning of Commando. Schwarzenegger or Seagal?
Schwarzenegger.
Is he a more believable parent, though?
Yes.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay, because the scene where Schwarzenegger feeds a deer some feed always cracks me up.
But you're only basing that on that one scene.
I mean, fair, but it is. I would say that I did think it was kind of ridiculous. I find Seagal is more believable doing what he's doing in this movie than Schwarzenegger is as a dad to that's the thing. Schwarzenegger is ex-military in Commando, right? And Seagal is ex-immunologist in this movie. Seagal is more believable in this movie. Like, I kind of believe his shtick in this movie more than I believed it in anything else I've seen him in terms of these kinds of movies.
Commando isn't the best basis for comparison.
No, but also how many movies have the setup for these movies are very similar, is my point.
Jingle All the Way. He played a dad in Jingle All the Way. Come on.
Yeah, and look, I'll defend Jingle All the Way, and so will you, but that's our problem, not anybody else's. I love Jingle All the Way. I mean, Schwarzenegger, I think, in terms of him being like a family man, that's never been a thing that really, I think, should be a motivator, and that's just a way, like you just alluded to, especially with Seagal, it's a way to endear him to a different group of people in the audience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the muscles, I think people might find intimidating. I think maybe that's why Seagal is a little more believable to you. Because Seagal has more of a father figure, no pun intended.
Yeah.
He looks like what a typical father would look like. I mean, without the dad bod. Schwarzenegger has always been this, buff, like titan, and he's always been seen as like the.
Telling me at the end of Jingle All the Way, when the woman that Rita Wilson is couldn't recognize her husband dressed in a Turbo Man outfit. Are you telling me that's not believable, Howard? Howard, you're telling me you just realized your husband's attractive? Come on. to your point, Schwarzenegger is unbelievable.
The voice.
Yeah, but Schwarzenegger is. I don't believe him as a dad. I don't. He's too.
God bless him. He tries.
Yeah, he tries. And what's weird is like Seagal just comes off as more of a dad, probably because he's more detached and more emotionally like stunted as a human being.
But who would you rather have as a father?
I mean, they're both kind of problematic in their own way. I mean, Schwarzenegger's not. I mean, we've never really talked about it, but Schwarzenegger's not exactly a ally to women the way I think he maybe thinks he is.
Yeah, and
he's trying to
won't have a name.
Back. Yeah, well, can you imagine that? Being married to Maria Shriver and just being like, "Oh, my nanny, huh?" Like, okay,
hey, you like what you like.
I mean, yeah, I can't. You'll like that is true. Schwarzenegger does like other women that are not his wife. You're right.
I mean, to quote Jingle All the Way, I'm not the pervert. I was just looking for Turbo.
He's not a pervert. Hey, you know what? At least Schwarzenegger's not problematic that way because Steven Seagal is.
No, I mean, he's more like problematic in a cheating asshole way.
Yeah.
Seagal's more unwanted affection way.
Yeah. That's being diplomatic.
It's a good thing Camilla Bell was only 11 at the time.
Yeah, it's too bad she wasn't like Katherine Heigl in Under Siege 2, right?
Oh, wasn't she 17?
Yeah.
Under Siege 2?
She was. Seagal, man, that just no chill. Man has no chill.
No,
and that's the thing. And that's the thing in this movie. I'll tell you, the role that he's playing. What's the character's name? Dr. Steven Seagal might as well be like at this point, he has finally honed his character down to a point, and I think we've seen this because we've watched so much of his stuff now. I don't think he's ever going to move off of this setting anymore. Like this is it.
He never really had much of the range to begin with.
Yeah, but he's worked himself up to this point now. Like there was a point where he didn't think his fart smelled so great, and now he loves the way his own fart smelled. Do you know what I mean? Like that's where we are now, and there's never going to be like a pivot back from that because in the land of direct-to-video stuff, someone like a Seagal is still a catch. His name still has cachet.
You're right. He's too far gone.
Yeah,
he's no going back.
No, he's made himself kind of very unpopular in the industry by being who he is, which is fine. There will be people that will pay you to be an asshole in Hollywood.
And I don't think there's a finite amount of apologies the man could give that would make people let him make movies again here.
No, and he's past his prime. He's not an actor that, and I think about this a lot, man, like 10 years from now, there may not even be a group of people that care about Steven Seagal anymore. If there are now, like, I'm not sure anyone.
Well, his direct-to-video stuff has slowed down a lot.
But I'm not sure anyone 10 years younger than me, so in their mid-20s, has seen a Steven Seagal movie before.
Oh, I doubt it.
Right. And, like, at that point, it doesn't matter if he's making movies anymore or not. And, like, that's the thing. You know how old he is? He's 72, man. Like he's an old guy now. He's not a young dude anymore. So if he's making movies at this point, it's tantamount to Harrison Ford doing Indiana Jones again, right? Like just you got to walk away. And look, am I disappointed that possibly his last movie is the second thing that we ever covered with General Commander, it's Beyond the Law. General Commander was his second to last movie. Am I disappointed that Beyond the Law might be his last movie? Yes, given that Above the Law 2 was rumored, still is technically rumored to be existing. I would like to see
going to happen.
Right. I'd like to see him make one more movie the way he used to. But at this point, dude, like I've known you for like, 5 years, something like that at this point.
Longer than that, I think.
The last time he made a movie was 2019, which is either the year, I think that's like the year you and I met. So it's been 5 years since he made anything. And yes, 3 of those years, or maybe 3, I think most people would say, were pandemic years where most things weren't happening anyways. So I think unless somebody does something with him that really gets him going, I think he's probably content to just live in Dubai or wherever the fuck he lives and do Aikido every day and have people tell him how great he is at Aikido. Because that's the thing. You and I would both contend he is good at Aikido. He is. There's no question there. Like, I believe he could kill me in 2 seconds if he met me. And I'm not being hyperbolic.
Problem is the man has no humility.
Right. But, and that's, I mean, that's the industry, unfortunately. The industry then in the 90s really it didn't know how to handle people like that the way they do now. People, you can't do that anymore. Like the word will get out too quickly. Too many people will know. Like you can keep it under wraps now in the 90s. The internet's still just barely a thing.
Studios were only worried about the bottom line. And they saw this trend of more martial arts talented actors doing action films. So you want to get in on it
in the States, at least.
In the States. And the studios want to get in on this. They want to get anything. That's why you saw a lot of like Jeff Speakman or like Don the Dragon Wilson, stuff like that. I mean, Brandon Lee tried to, with Hard Target. Not Hard Target, God damn it. With, what was it called?
What about Mark Dacascos?
Mark Dacascos
from Iron Chef.
Oh,
what a weird career! What a weird career pivot that man has had.
I thought we were going to see Double Dragon.
No, but he's also Chairman Kaga's nephew in Iron Chef America, which always makes me laugh.
I just a couple days ago watched a compilation of Today's Secret Ingredient.
He's so good. When he reveals it, he understands the assignment, as it were. And to your point about the 90s, like Steven Seagal was...
By the way, Rapid Fire. That was the name of the
Rapid Fire. Okay. So that's but to your point, like this idea of in the 90s, it was coming to a close. The kind like I don't know if you would agree with me entirely, but I think that this is a pretty fair statement to make. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone haven't made a lot of great movies post the mid 90s. They had a time, and it was like 15 years though, where the three of them or four of them were kind of all punching at each other. I mean, Stallone and Schwarzenegger going back and forth in the 80s was a thing. I mean, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, the famous story with that movie. It is,
story ever.
Schwarzenegger baited Stallone into taking it, and he took the fucking bait. But like you alluded to, the tastes in the 90s and the late 90s were very different. And that's, something like Rush Hour comes out in the late 90s, which introduces a lot of Americans for the first time to Jackie Chan. And then that, like you said, kind of becomes the prevailing thing for a while. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon makes big waves. Rush Hour 2 comes out, Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights, all these Jet Li movies like The One, or again, and then you even alluded to kind of some of the smaller name people, but the expectations going into the 2000s were very different from what people wanted in the 80s and 90s. I mean, you can even see it, we were talking about it right before we started recording, but wrestling trends followed that too. I mean, in the 80s and 90s, you had big professions as, The Undertaker is the most famous wrestler, and his name is what his profession is. That has been able to survive for 30 years plus, but in a lot of ways, it's kind of the outlier that proves the rule. And Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal haven't really done as much as well since the late 90s that they would have in those subsequent 20 years before that.
Well, and when they do, they try to go back to the well.
Right. And it's like, you can't do this again.
To varying successes. Although I do say Rambo, the fourth one is really fucking good.
The fourth one as in the one in Cambodia?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's great. I saw that one in theaters. I would totally agree. The one with Julie Benz.
Yes. The last one was kind of racist.
Is that the one where he's killing all the people at the border?
Yeah, and the Mexicans. And
oh boy, great.
It did seem a little. But, Arnold Schwarzenegger, how many Terminator movies has he done now?
What, since Terminator 2?
Like Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator Genesis, Terminator Salvation, Terminator...
He wasn't in Salvation. That's the only one he wasn't in.
Well, his face was in it.
Sure, but he thankfully wasn't in it. It was 1, 2, 3. He's been in 5 now, because he was in Dark Fate and Genesis.
Yeah, and the problem is, to declining box office sales.
Yeah. Like, okay,
and
the last good Schwarzenegger movie, I think most people would sit and be like, that was a great movie and I really enjoyed it. 1994. Do you know what that film is?
True Lies.
Yeah. After that, Eraser, Junior, Jingle All the Way, Batman and Robin, End of Days, The Sixth Day, Collateral Damage, Terminator 3. No, here's the thing. I love these movies and so do you, but that is because I also I love Schwarzenegger, period. But I am literally pointing to objective fact that none of these movies that I've mentioned moved the needle the way Commando, Predator, Red Heat, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop. Like, those movies are beloved movies. I like a lot of Schwarzenegger stuff. I tolerate probably more than most people do, just like you do. But even I can acknowledge from 1994 until now, he's made a couple good things. But for the most part, he's done a lot of ho-hum, same bullshit.
Well, he did the Expendables films to very
sort of.
Here's the thing about Stallone, though. He was smarter when he went back to like the Rocky franchise, because he didn't try to have Rocky still be, the focus. Contender, the focus. Well, Rocky Balboa, he was the focus, but then he knew, okay, I can't do this anymore. If I want to keep making these movies, I'm going to have to be like the Mickey role,
Well, and Stallone, look, I think it might be fair that I lumped Stallone in, but I think Stallone also pivoted. Like, Stallone is much more of an actor than, I'm not saying Schwarzenegger is not an actor, but like Schwarzenegger is a lot of things. And I think Stallone, Stallone wrote the script for Rocky. Like, he's
won the fucking Oscar.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. To your point. To your point, like, it might be a little bit of an unfair comparison, but it's a fair comparison only in terms of Schwarzenegger doesn't make the kinds of things he's known for making anymore, and Stallone really doesn't. Like, Stallone was the voice in Suicide Squad of King Shark, but you didn't see him on screen. Like, no. And when he is on screen, he's either doing something he's already done or he's doing something different. Like that show that's on, what is it on?
Paramount Plus?
Yeah, the one where he's like a mobster in Tulsa King. Like,
Tulsa King, yeah.
Yeah, these kinds of things are not what I would expect from someone like Stallone, so it's nice to see that he's pivoted. Schwarzenegger hasn't pivoted. Schwarzenegger kind of is just still doing the same.
Well, I think Schwarzenegger, when he does, he pivots more towards comedic action.
When his stuff was always kind of funny, right? Like,
well, yeah,
what's like the serious Schwarzenegger movie, Collateral Damage? Like, most of his stuff, his one-liners are always good for the most part. Like, that's what he's known for, is goddamn one-liners.
Yeah, he's tried, God bless him, to try to be known for more than just that. He does have good comedic timing, but I can't see Schwarzenegger doing anything like dramatic.
Have you seen Maggie?
I haven't.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, I wouldn't rush out to see it. To your point, he's like okay as a dramatic actor, but he doesn't. I think Schwarzenegger's bigger than life. Like, and that's even now, he can post a video on YouTube and people will stop and listen to him because for a lot of people like yourself, like myself, he was inescapable. He was everywhere. He became governor because of his film career. And you know what? A lot of people wish they had a Republican like him kicking around now because you know what? You might not have liked him then, but comparatively, he looks like a fucking saint.
Well, when he does videos now, he's very much, centrist.
Yeah, kind of. He's definitely pushing himself away from where Steven Seagal has kind of embraced. That's the thing.
He's definitely swayed more into this is what Republicans used to be and we should be again.
Right.
Rather than let's toe this Trump line. And he's been vocal about how Trump is not what Republican he thinks of as a Republican.
Right. Well, the kind of Republican that he was when he was governor. And that's the other thing we can obviously never know. What would have happened if Steven Seagal's career had never gone to DTV? We can never know that. Just like we can never know what would have happened if Schwarzenegger had never become governor. Because there's essentially 10 years where he does nothing. It's cameos, cameo. You can look at it from The Rundown until The Last Stand. Those up until Last Stand, Around the World in 80 Days, The Rundown, The Kid and I, Expendables and Expendables 2, all essentially cameos.
Have you seen The Last Stand?
Yeah, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's good in spite of essentially everything else that would come out after it. Like, Escape Plan or Sabotage, or I'm not a fan of the Expendables movies personally. I find them to
that's fine.
They're okay after a while. Like the novelty wears off after a while.
The fourth one was pretty bad.
I stopped after the second one.
I thought that the second one I like the second one probably because they had Chuck Norris in it and probably for the memes. They had him in it for the memes.
That's all.
They're
never able to get Seagal. He doesn't work with funny people, you know?
When Stallone, I mean, he did Bullet to the Head, which is a movie I did not care for. But yeah, I mean, Stallone, he knows when to hang it up.
Yeah, when to pivot to something else. Like, if Schwarzenegger made another movie this year, I don't think it would be like a serious movie. I mean, look, the last thing he made was Terminator Dark Fate, which was anything but serious. Like, it was another Terminator movie.
And now there's this Twins 2 that's in limbo, whatever the fuck's happening to it.
And to your point, like, I think Schwarzenegger should have pivoted earlier. I think Stallone pivoted at the right time. I think Seagal has yet to pivot and never. I mean, like we've said, he never will at this point. He's missed the opportunity by a long shot.
He's a lost cause, man. I mean,
but that's the sad thing about a movie like The Patriot is a movie like The Patriot isn't, honestly, it's kind of a shock that this movie is a DTV movie. I mean, it feels like it only because the lack of action.
I think it was released theatrically in some countries, though. It was almost released theatrically here, I think.
There's not enough here to I think interest an audience at the time who had seen all of his other stuff. I mean, all the other things that we've watched up until this point have a lot more action than this movie does. And it's action that actually leans on him as a Aikido practicer.
I mean, in terms of story, it's pretty thin. The whole movie is only, 90 minutes? It doesn't use the time wisely.
Plastic beakers. Plastic beakers. When he says plastic beakers and he says it again, so they don't cut the monkeys with glass. I was like, what are you talking about, you psycho?
That's a missed opportunity then. He could have killed Gaylord Sartain with a plastic beaker.
I mean, I don't, yeah. Honestly, that's the other thing about this movie. I mean, we've kind of talked about this a lot when it comes to Seagal, and I guess it probably bears repeating here, but the climax of this movie is really poorly done. I mean,
well, it's rushed. It's so rushed.
Yeah, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like there are no stakes, and there's this kind of ticking clock because the virus will kill you very quickly, and we have to figure out how to cure everybody quickly, and otherwise everybody's going to die.
But there is no sense of tension when it comes to the virus. Well, with the outbreak, they at least let you believe that the outbreak is about to do this, and the government's about to bomb this city, to contain it.
Right.
There was a sense of tension there. With this one, there's no U.S. government threatening an extermination or anything like that. It's more of just, we found the cure. Here's the tea. Drink. You're done. It's kind of,
I think, though, obviously, this is kind of a seminal moment for the show. Obviously, it took us a while to get here, literally, figuratively, all of it, because again, we kind of took a break, you and I. Yeah. Focus on our mental health and other things. But obviously also, I mean, what's funny is we took a break at the point where literally now we have no more of the films that people would call quality. Like, this is the first DTV movie. This is probably, for a lot of people, this might have been the last thing most people heard Steven Seagal was in for a while, until we get to, I mean, obviously there will be a couple things that we talk about that come out, but this is it. I mean, we get Exit Wounds and then Machete, but Exit Wounds is like the big one, I think, in terms of like things that people might be seeing him in. I guess Exit Wounds and Half Past Dead, probably those are the two big ones.
And maybe the Onion movie.
Yeah, but he's not, I mean, like, he's not even, I mean, again, in terms of like being the main star, but I have to ask you.
Yeah. What's up?
If we were to look back at the last however many movies it's been, Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege, On Deadly Ground, Under Siege 2, Executive Decision, The Glimmer Man, or Fire Down Below, where do you put, what's at the top and what's at the bottom for you?
Well, top is Under Siege.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. You're a huge fan of Under Siege.
Yeah, I like both of them. So I would say both. At number 2,
as a piece, you mean?
Yes. At number 2, I put around Marked for Death, then Out for Justice, then Hard to Kill. You want me to do all 10 of them in line?
No, just the first and the last one, honestly. What's the height? What's the peak? And what's the valley?
Peak is Under Siege and like Marked for Death. The valley is, God.
I feel like there's a couple things vying for the bottom here.
Are we talking about his all filmography?
No, just the things that were theater, like the theatrical, because there's no more theatrical stuff.
I would say around Half Past Dead. Or The Glimmer Man, actually. The Glimmer Man might be the start of the nadir.
You think that do you think that the Glur Man is the low part, is the lowest point in his theatrical?
Well, either that or Half Past Dead.
Okay, I haven't seen Half Past Dead, so it's that bad, huh?
Yeah. Or,
that's too bad. I would say so far, in terms of like the time that he was known for doing theatrical stuff, I'm going to say, yeah, I think, and we'll probably get you on to do an episode on Film Foundations on Steven Seagal, because I think it would be fun, especially given that we're kind of doing all of his stuff as it is. But I think I'm probably, in terms of like the thing that I would say like most people would need to see, I think you're probably right. I think Under Siege is kind of the Steven Seagal film. In terms of like the big world-saving one, I think, to your point,
Under Siege 2.
I mean, well, that's the thing. Like Under Siege 1 and Under Siege 2 are so like the world's ending and we've got to stop the world from ending. I don't think Seagal works best when it's like world ending. I actually think that, like, to your point, Marked for Death. I love Marked for Death. The music in that movie is great. I mean, it has like some voodoo-y stuff. There's that scene where
it's pretty fucking brutal.
Yeah, I mean, the way he kills Screwface at the end of the movie is fucking intense. I mean, it's no fucking joke. I think I'm with you. I think Under Siege and Marked for Death are two similar songs played in a different key. But yeah, I think
that's why I put them both so close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, they're good for different reasons, and I think they represent like the same. They represent two sides of the same coin with Steven Seagal, which I think when talking about him is important. But yeah, man, I'm gonna say probably the bottom of the pack, the thing that really is not great. Probably Fire Down Below. Like On Deadly Ground, I kind of have a soft spot for. But Fire Down Below is pretty bad. I mean, I don't know.
I get those two confused, though. Which was the one with Michael Caine?
On Deadly Ground, the Alaska one. Fire Down Below is the Chris Christopherson, all the random country western singers trying to kill Steven Seagal.
Okay, I might have to change my vote then, because On Deadly Ground was pretty fucking bad.
On Deadly Ground and Fire Down Below are preachy, very preachy.
It was Seagal. It was Seagal at his most ego, because he thought he could direct this and just do everything. I wouldn't be surprised.
I might actually amend my answer. Yeah, just the fact that he directed On Deadly Ground, that probably puts it the worst thing he's done, I think. Period. In terms of the things most people would have seen is On Deadly Ground. You're probably right, because he has everything to blame. It's a problem of his own creation.
And I'm not going to blame Michael Caine, because he probably did the film for the same reason he did Jaws 3 or Jaws 4.
He's essentially alluded to it as much, right? Like
I haven't seen Jaws 4, by all accounts it's terrible, but I have seen the house it's built and it's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's why Michael Caine was in On Deadly Ground. But I think, to your point, I mean, On Deadly Ground is also a movie that we literally somehow avoided having an hour-long fucking end of the movie rant by Steven Seagal about how bad it is to be, drilling for oil in Alaska, which I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I don't need to listen to Steven Seagal talk about it for a fucking hour.
Nobody wants to hear your ideology, dude.
Well,
seriously.
Well, his ideology is more popular now than it ever has been, unfortunately.
Well, they didn't want to hear it at the time.
Right. Well, that's the other thing about Seagal.
It also has to do with the messenger of it. Less of the message, more about who the messenger is.
That's fair. Yeah. The last thing anybody really needs is Steven Seagal is following the lead of someone like Steven Seagal. And that's the thing. I mean, he's out of touch with reality. He's out of touch with the industry. And this is, for me, I mean, we are now at the point with this show where everything from here on out is going to be DTV stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, we've got a lot to get through. I mean, the bulk majority of his stuff is DTV. Heavily DTV. I mean, he's making DTV movies a lot. I mean, we got a lot to get through, but yeah, this is. I think this movie honestly was as close as I've seen so far to a movie post his big movies that was like, this probably could have stood to have been in theaters. It was the closest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if it had gone to theaters, I wouldn't have been surprised. It probably would have been one of those movies that came in, debuted at number 6 or 7, and then dropped off the next weekend.
Yeah, like it's nothing special. It's nothing really that exciting. It's not a hidden gem. Honestly, I still
But it's not unwatchable.
Right.
It's not unwatchable.
And I still think you'd probably agree with me that attrition is probably the thing that I did not expect to find in his filmography, which is a good late stage Seagal movie. But this checks a couple boxes, but it's okay. And for a movie called The Patriot, boy, it's pretty ironic that it's about Steven Seagal, given how unpatriotic he essentially is now at this point. Rah, rah, America. And now he's anything
Vladimir
but.
Putin.
It's wild to me. Look,
Vladimir Putin.
For me, Steven Seagal is a guy who, when he's on. And for the things that he was on in the 90s, we're going to have to see a lot of him being off in the 2000s and 2010s, because that's...
Yeah, we might hit the occasional glimmer and bright spot, but I'm not holding out too much hope.
No, me either. And like you said, even the movies that came out after this that went to theaters weren't great, that's also disappointing, because given how infrequently he would be making movies in theaters, it would be nice if at least those movies were good. But that may not be the case. So,
on
the next episode, you and I will be traveling all the way into the past but future of 2015 to talk about 2014 with Gut Shot Straight, which the character that he plays in that movie, I think his name is Paulie Trunks. Great.
Is he a mobster?
Yes, a loan shark, specifically. So great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one can only fucking imagine. So until then, where can people find you, Trevor?
You can find me usual on X at Bad Vertigo, but I hardly ever use X anymore. So you can find me on Blue Sky the same. You can find me on Instagram at the same. And where can people find you, Chris?
Find me at weirdingwaymedia.com, where this show and all the other shows that I work on can be found. All of everything, but if you are into James Bond films, which if you listen to this show, you might be, you can get in on patreon.com/culturecast or patreon.com/projection booth. $10 or higher. You get to listen to Mike White, Richard Haddam of Richard Haddam's Paranormal Bookshelf, and I spend one weekend a month talking about James Bond movies. And right now, the last episode you would hear if you were supporting us is Goldfinger. So we're just getting into the really good stuff. So if that's something you're into, head on over there. Like, rate, and review the show on iTunes. Please, even if you don't get it on iTunes, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes. That's where most people get their shows. And as always, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.